Chess India team battle, and I would just request you to be on hold. I'll be sending out the messages for this live broadcast, so I will just need 2 minutes. I'll come back in 2 minutes. So please be on hold. Hello, all viewers. So we have this back-to-back double header today. We just finished the world team battles, and we have started with the commentary for the 63rd Kilo Chess India team battle. And I think here white is winning clearly as the black queen is pinned. Hello, all viewers. Yeah, so the black resigned here. Let's quickly revise this game. D4, D5, bishop F4, bishop F5, pawn to C4, pawn to C6, queen to B3. This is the right way actually. When the pawn is on C4, queen B3, and bishop is on F5, this move actually puts a very good pressure on B7. If queen comes to b6, then you can push the pawn to c5 and queen takes b3, a takes b3 will give you this open file for attack on the e7 pawn. You can just castle and put both the rooks on e file to put some pressure here, and then b4, b5 can also be played to exchange here on c6. So it's a nice way to continue the game. Pawn to b6, pawn takes, and knight to c3, pawn to e6, knight to b5, knight to a6, and queen to e4, bishop to b4 check, knight c3 back, and queen d7. Now here there were few points actually. This a6 knight was hanging, queen takes queen could have been played, but here, yeah, white captured the knight there, and then bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and knight to f6. And this is something that black missed, that this queen can be pinned from the b5 square. So e4 came with a threat on bishop, and now bishop b5 is unstoppable to get this queen. So let's go back and try to get the next game, guys. So we have the let me join the and try to play a game. I'm not in the best of this form right now, doing back-to-back commentary from last around 1.5 hours or more. So a bit tired, but let's try to play a game. Try to create some just try to create some magic here on the board. Let's try to play in the not in the Berserk mode, but with a regular game this time without any adventure. So I'm playing with Advocate Harish Mishra from Prayagraj Future GM. This is just a Catalan opening that I'm doing with an F3, Bishop G2 and castles, and later on I'll try to open up the queen side and try to attack as much as possible on the queen side. Now the C4 should have been played actually. Yep, now this is the problem. I would just play knight e5, attack the queen and this bishop at the same time, and then probably I can just capture this bishop on next move so that this bishop emerges as the sole leader which cannot be challenged thereafter. Let me play c4 and try to attack this pawn twice. I think pawn takes can be played here, but pawn takes is not played. Let me just play knight c3, try to develop the pieces. I think bishop to d6 or bishop e7 and castles is now expected. Bishop b4. Interesting. Uh, okay, so this knight is hanging, so I can first capture the pawn here. Pawn takes, and I think c takes can be e takes will be played now. Okay, pawn to e4. I'm getting a tempo here of attacking this knight, so let me try to capitalize on that. So once this knight moves, I can capture the pawn on this d5 square. Pawn takes d5 and rook e1 check. So I think that black has completely ignored the fact that this knight is hanging. So let me just capture the knight here. Queen takes c3 will be played, and now I think I can play bishop to e3, supporting this rook with the rook on f1 so that it's not being captured. And now there is a threat of bishop e4, pawn to f5. So let me just capture this with the queen so that I have this threat of queen takes b7. Knight comes to c6. Let me just put the rook on the c1 square. Now this bishop can go to f1 and come to d3 and try to deliver a mate on h7, try to create some weaknesses here. Let's try to use that plan. I know it's not the best way. If your bishop is well placed on this diagonal, you can just play rook b1 and try to attack this b7 pawn. I think we can just take the pawn on b7 now. Queen a3 I think is now played. Yeah. So let's play bishop d3 first. Try to attack here on the h7. g6 is expected. We actually have this d5 also, and if rook takes d5, no, still not. It's a blunder actually. It's a check and mate. So let's go back to a tournament, try to play another game here. I'm just trying to play some quick games here. If you have any questions, any queries, or if you want to play something else, then yeah, you are expected. You can just put in the comment section. So for some reason, guys, I'm not able to see the comments right now, which are coming in the comment section. For some reason, it's blocked or something. I'm not able to see the comments. So let me just try to reopen the. Yeah, so I can see a comment from Tanuja Sahasrabudhe. Hi Tanuja, hope you are doing well. And this is Amir Saman from your Khelo Chess India favorite chess YouTube channel. So Tanuja, if you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them. Just let me know in the comment section whatever questions you have, and I'll try to get the best of the answers that are possible right now from my side. So general the questions are that how can we learn chess? How can we develop our game? Or how can we increase our rating? So we recently did few interviews with international masters, like the one from when we had Arjun Kalyan from, I think he's from Chennai or West Bengal. I need to confirm that, but he suggested he and then even the Bachna Moshvili, he is a Georgian international master and currently the online champion in Georgia. So I'm just drawing this arrow to make sure that you know what why I'm playing this bishop d7. So what those guys said, those international masters said was that you should at least practice 3 hours per day. That is what their statement was, that you should at least practice 3 hours per day, because if you practice 3 hours per day, your brain goes into a very nice little sacrifice on f7. How is that going to count? Let me just capture the knight. So if you practice your let me capture this bishop first and try to pin the queen. Okay, pawn takes, bishop takes, rook check will be answered by king to e8. Okay, so that's a trap. So you can just use these traps, petty little traps, to trap your opponent's queen and major pieces and then try to win quickly. So meanwhile, what I was commentating was that let me just stop this attack on the rook and get my knight on f5. Okay, so what those IMs say that you should have to practice at least 3 hours a day minimum, and maximum you can go for probably 6 or 7 hours per day as much as possible. But the thing is that you should be solving many combinations every day, at least 50 combinations you should solve, 50 puzzles you should solve every day actually. That will put your brain in a very nice tactical mode, and then you can play very good games in the FIDE rating tournaments as well. Also, the important thing is your theoretical knowledge. Make sure that you read the basics of the opening that you play. Okay, make sure whatever whichever openings you play, you know the theory behind it, why it was played in the first place. Okay, sorry guys, I'm playing too many games today, but just I'm in mood of playing today, so please bear with me, or you can just let me know in the comment section that I should not play. I'll just try to pick up more games from the tournament. Let's try to play dragon this time. Let's try to create some spicy position here. And we can castle now, probably. Yeah, knight can be put to c6 square and try to attack the d4 knight. There are a lot of actual tactics which come. So this is a blunder from white actually. He is just playing bishop a4 and allowing this fork to be given. The knight and bishop can be now attacked. So don't play this blunders guide. Bishop f4 is not the best move here. If we just go back, you can play the move like f4 here, try to attack the king side as much as possible. And let us just try to play knight on c6 now. And then queen can come to b6 after rook d1. Rook d1 is now expected. I will play queen b6, try to attack this b2 pawn. Yeah, let's play this queen b6. Now the b2 pawn is attacked. Knight a4 is something that can be played. Bishop b3, not a bad choice. And we have knight e5. Let's first defend this d6 pawn. If we play this knight rook to d8, then we have knight g5 coming very soon. Then we have knight e5 also to defend this f7 pawn. So nothing to worry about. Let's play rook d8 and probably knight a4 or something fishy is expected here. Yeah. So knight e5 supporting this f7 pawn. Nothing to worry about this knight and bishop. So next move I can play h6 and drive this knight back and then capture it on f3, creating a double pawns over here on the f3 and f2 squares, a weakness in white's camp. So d6 is now attacked twice, but I think that should be okay. Do I have any knight f3 4 king queen and king fork here? If this knight is not there on this, I'm just wondering if I can bring the position wherein this f3 square is undefended. But not immediately. Let's try to play h6 now. Just put this knight back somewhere on these two squares. And if knight h3, then bishop takes h3. Yeah, that's the way actually. Now I can create this vacant square for this knight to jump to f3. And so he is not capturing the bishop here. He's just trying to capture the pawn on the f4 square. Now I think bishop can come back and challenge this attacking bishop here. Just get this pawn back on e6, and then probably this rook can go to f8 while taking this f2 fold, f2 square with the rook, the queen, and knights coming to the beautiful squares out there. So the rook can come to d8 and support a d6 pawn. Okay, so d6 is now supported. Next move, I think knight g4 is playable. Yeah, let's play knight g4 now. Try to attack this f2 pawn thrice with the knight, with the rook, and with the queen. And there are three defenses as well. There is a defense with the queen, the rook, and the king, so I'm not able to capture that pawn right away. How can I continue the attack now? That's okay. So I'm getting the piece on c3, so knight f2 can be played now. Knight f2. Yep. Knight f2, and then I think I can play knight g4 first. This rook is pinned right now, and this bishop can come to d4 also to pin the. Yep. I think I'm winning this one now. Bishop takes c3. G6 is hanging, but bishop can come back and save the king now. So, okay, I can just get into the ending, which is clearly winning for me now. Yep, this is winning for me. I think white should resign here quickly. And the next game can be played then. Okay, pawn to b5, pawn to b4, rook to c3 check can be given now. Pawn to a3 is expected, but nothing, we can just capture the pawn there. So this is just winning for me. I hope white resigns quickly here, and we can play the next game. Let's give this check. Pawn push. Okay, let's try to play e5 here instead of pawn push. So this is winning. Actually, I'm just waiting for white to resign this game so that we can move to the next game. I'm just trying to make some pre-moves here and trying to win quickly. Okay, so Nilesh Gupta says, thanks for analyzing my game, sir. Thanks, Nilesh. Thanks to you too for viewing the broadcast and being with us all this time and supporting us. So thanks to you too, Nilesh. I am happy to analyze your games. You can just request anytime that whenever you want to analyze your game, you can just request to me. I'll take up your games and I'll definitely give you some good advices. Whatever I know, I'll try to share it with you. Probably it will help you to it will help you to improve your game as well. So just pawn push, and queens here. And just making sure there is no stalemates. Stalemates are actually the biggest enemy when you have a lot of pieces on the board. So let's try to pause this game and try to find some new. I just started scoring now. I think I must be on, yeah, 8. I'm on 8 right now, but let's try to pause and try to get some games from the top boards. Let's try to get this game between Team Future, Bobby Kasparov. Okay, Hari is from Team Future. He's from India. And we are playing against the Beat Mindano chess prodigy, Bobby Karpov. A very nice idea. Let's check what happened in the opening. D4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4. This is the King's Indian defense. All the players out there who are looking to prepare a solid opening from black side against d4, this is your answer. You can prepare King's Indian defense, but there is a lot of theory and positional understanding that you require to play King's Indian. King's Indian have been played by the legends like Gary Kasparov. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think even we have seen King's Indian being played by Bobby Fischer also. So pawn to d6, knight to f3, castles, bishop d3, pawn to e5. I can see a comment from Nilesh Gupta. Thank you for doing these live streams. Yes, Nilesh, thanks to you. Thanks for the compliments. And of course, you are the viewers, so it's all for you. I'm happy that I'm getting the positive comments from your side. That keeps me motivated. So thanks a lot to you too, Nilesh. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends as much as possible. So pawn to e5, pawn takes pawn. This is the exchange variation in the King's Indian defense. Other options here are to just castle, wait for black to exchange, then you can capture with the knight. Or you can push the pawn, then put your pawn to b4, pawn to c5, knight to d2, knight to c5. And I think draw was offered here, but let's go back and check the opening. Uh, okay, so this was the position, pawn to e5, d takes e5, d takes e5, bishop to g5, rook to e8, castles, pawn to h6, bishop to h4, pawn to g5, bishop to g3, knight to h5, queen to e2, knight takes g3, pawn takes g3. So white is trying to open up his f file. This is not actually the best move because these two pawns then, not the c4 pawn, but at least the e4 pawn is going to be slightly isolated when the endgame approaches. So knight to c6, rook to d1, bishop knight to d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4 check, king h1, pawn to c6. I'm making sure this knight doesn't have a happy life on d5, b5, creating any threats there. So queen to f3, bishop to e6, and pawn to h4, trying to open up this white's king side, black's king side. Pawn to g4 and queen to f2, rook to d8, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, bishop to e2, and rook to d8, pawn to b3, saving this pawn on the c4, rook takes d1, rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and knight takes d1. We have bishop to f8 and pawn to h5. Bishop to c5. Now this king is actually trapped because it has no way to go. This is h3 is actually controlled by this pawn, and this is being controlled by the bishop. So this king is locked. So black is, I think, slightly better here as compared to white's position. Bishop to d4, knight to d3, king to g7, king to h2, king to f6, knight to e1, king to g5, knight to c2, pawn to c5. I think still actually bishop could have been brought, but I think b4 is coming fast and b4 and c5 to get this vacant square. Even king bishop f2 I think was playable here instead of pawn to c5. So pawn to c5 was played, and then knight to a3, pawn to a6, and king to knight to c2. Actually, if we go just few moves back, I think this is the only square for black's king entry. Black goes to f6, e7, d6, c5, and try to come with these two squares. That is the entry for black's king. And we should not close off your entries actually. You should keep them open as much as possible. c5 square should have been kept vacant for the king. If you play c5, then the problem is that the king has no entry. King has no entry here. It's not possible. So king has to go f6, e7, d7, c6, b6, a5, and then b4. This is a long route actually for the king. This was better as compared. This is not better as compared to this one. This is a better route actually to come quickly. So you should think twice before playing such moves like c5 here. So c5 was played. Knight a3 was, white was happy here. Pawn to a6, knight to c2, pawn to f5, knight takes d4, pawn takes d4, bishop to d3, pawn takes, and bishop takes, bishop king takes h5, bishop takes b7. So this king takes h5 is also played in hurry actually. This is not required right now. First, you have to defend this b7 square. Okay, so probably bishop c8 could have been played, or at least b6 could have been played to make sure that this pawn is safe. And after this pawn is made safe, then you can capture the pawn on h5. So king takes h5, then we have bishop takes b7, pawn to e4, a sacrifice again. I'm not sure why black is giving away all the pawns here. This should not have been done. These pawns are all free actually. Don't give away all the pawns. That actually help white to secure a draw here. And then white got disconnected passers, and even I think those were lost then. Yep. Yeah, so it was a draw accepted here. I'm not sure why was the draw was accepted. Yeah, this is the pawn which is hanging. Uh Bishop takes g2, bishop takes h5, pawn to d3, and then bishop can king to c3, and bishop I think can go to f1 and to e2 to support these two pawns. But still, white has these two passes which are strong as compared to the other pawns here. So probably your draw was evident here. Let's go back to the tournament. So all the viewers out there, if you want to get in touch with me for online coaching or any online consultation, you can just join the WhatsApp group. It's there in the description box below, and you can communicate with us via WhatsApp. So let's try to pick up the next game. So we have let's try. Let me join. Or let's not join actually. So Ravi Chandra says your analysis is very helpful to the learners. Thank you, Ravi Chandra. I want to help all the chess players as much as possible. Hence, I've started this channel. I am very happy that you already or you recognize that this is a very good platform for the learners to be on and to learn something new. So thank you, Ravichandra, for your comments and for your positive comment, especially it keeps me motivated. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section. I would definitely try to improve my commentary or improve my topics or improve my subjects. You can also check the other videos on my YouTube channel. I have made a lot of videos which explain you how to use the technology and just to improve your game. So thank you very much, Ravi Chandra. Thanks for your positive comments. Thank you, Nilesh, and thank you, Tanuja, also. Let's pick up the next game, guys. Let's pick up the game between. Mhm. So if you have any suggestion whose game I should be picking up, let me know. I would be happy to pick up the game. Let's check who all are playing from Khelo Chess India. Simple play, that's me. So let's not pick up my game. Let's try to pick up Kuam the Great. He is not playing, I think. Yeah, he's not playing right now. Let's go to the next one. And we have no one here from Khelo India. Where are all the players? So Mr. Green is playing from Khelo India, but he has just finished his game. But let's try to analyze this. Okay, so this was the game between Mr. Green from Khelo India and Mario Siaklo Chess, probably from the Chess Blasters. So d4 was played here, d4 c5. This is called as the Benoni, the old Benoni, which attacks the center of white here. d4 c5, pawn to c3, pawn to d5, bishop to f4, knight to f6, knight to f3, pawn to e6, pawn to e3, knight to c6, bishop to b4, bishop to d6, bishop to g3, queen to c7 now. Just trying to develop the queen, but I think this is not much useful. I think he is just preparing black for this capture on c6 with the queen instead of this pawn. But capturing with the pawn is also okay. It gives you this open file to attack. It gives you the c takes d4 and c5 pawn push. A lot of options that black gets even if white captures this knight with the pawn out there. So knight to d2, castles and rook to c1, knight to e7. So black has decided to put his knights on the king's side and try to play some attacking moves over here on the king's side probably. Let's check what happened in the game. Bishop d3 was played and knight g6, knight g5, bishop takes g6, h takes g6. This is not a good move, guys, because you are just giving away this open fight here. This knight is already sitting on the h5, bishop is sitting on d3, and this knight can join the party on f3, queen can join the party on again f3. Of course, this king will be in center, stuck in center, but king e2 and this rook can come to h1 also. So don't give this open file to your opponent. Your opponent will not have to think anything after this. The plan is clear for him that the file is open, he has to attack in the open file. If there is no open file, then he has to think a lot. He has to spend more time on how he has to develop his pieces, how he has to develop his attacking game. Anyways, black won this game, but let's check what happened. So pawn to e5 was played, bishop takes g6, pawn takes g6, and pawn takes e5, queen takes e5, knight to f3. Queen to e7, knight g5 again. So white is just wasting moves actually here. This is couple of moves wasted here with the knight. Bishop to g4, pawn to f3, and queen takes e3. This is the blunder. This is the turning point of the game wherein this e3 was given for free. Queen c2 was probably expected here. Queen c2 and then castles on the king side. But pawn f3, queen takes e3, queen e2, queen takes g5. A free knight here. Okay, so pawn takes bishop, and look at this triple pawns. It's like that's the final nail in the coffin, and this is again the rook pinning the knight, by pinning the queen away and getting an easy win over here. So let's go back to the tournament, guys, and let's try to find the next game out there. Let me quickly have a sip of water. Yeah, so I'm back, guys. Sorry for keeping you on hold. Let's try to pick up this game between uh yeah Survivor RHWG is from Russia, I think. Philippines. Okay, Beat Mindanao is a team from Philippines, and we have Team Future from Sri Lanka. So D4, D5, Knight F3, E6, G3 Catalan structure, and this is F5. So this is again a strong pawn structure which is not easy to break. You can try this from black side, guys, if you want to play a strong positional chess, not giving easy options for your opponent. That you can try now. This opening. Then we have bishop to g2, knight to f6, castles, bishop to d6, pawn to c4, pawn to c6, knight to c3, then castles and bishop to g5, queen e8. The problem is that this is a stonewall structure, guys, or a Dutch defense you can see, wherein this structure is observed. But this bishop on c8 is the major problem in this position, wherein it is always difficult to get this bishop somewhere in the game, either at least by playing bishop d7, bishop e8, and bishop h5, or at least play b6 and bishop to e6, try to attack here on this e2 square. So it's not that easy for the black side to handle this bishop on c8. So we have knight to d7, queen to c2, and queen to h5, king to g1. So knight to e4, bishop to e3, pawn to a6, h6, knight to d2, pawn to g5. So a huge pawn storm coming over here from black side, And this bishop can be caught in the storm actually and get itself into a difficult situation. So pawn to f3 was played, knight takes d2, bishop takes d2, and queen comes back to f7. Pawn to e4, pawn takes c4, rook to e1, bishop c7, pawn to f4. So this is actually very tactical and very dynamic position, guys, wherein any pawn can be exchanged, and every exchange gives to a huge range of tactics on both the sides actually. For example, this e4 is actually another option that black can play, but this f takes e4 starts this open file attack wherein the exchanges are possible. That is what black should not offer here, because black should try to put more pressure on the king side and not exchange this, because if white exchanges, then these two pieces are dead pieces in black's camp, and in the end game they might not be effective very well, because this all the pawns are on the light squares and this bishop is also a light squared bishop. So the exchange should be avoided by black here. Pawn takes c4, rook to e1, bishop to c7, pawn to f4, pawn to g4, pawn takes, and pawn to d5. Bishop b6 check, king h1, and knight to f6, pawn takes c6, pawn takes c6, and there are a lot of this. Now this bishop will start showing its true colors by attacking the c6 and a8 squares. This c4 will soon be captured actually. It won't last long. Bishop e3 is there to challenge this bishop again. So bishop e3 was played, rook to b8, and bishop takes b6, rook takes b6, and rook to e5. Knight to d7, and rook comes back to e3, knight to c5, queen to e2. Now we have some pressure in the e5 here. Rook e7 can be played. Queen is still attacking the c4 pawn here. So queen is also defending the b2 pawn. Knight d3 is now available. Knight d3, and yeah, it can create some problems to white. So bishop e6 was played first, and rook to e1, rook to b8, attacking this b2 pawn twice now. Rook to b8, rook to b1 was played. King to g7, rook to e5, knight to e4, knight takes e4, f takes e4, and rook takes e4. Bishop f5 is not possible because of rook e7. Bishop takes a b1, rook takes f7, king takes f7, and then we don't have any check as of now. Yeah, we have queen c4 check coming after that. Queen c4 and then c6 can be captured with this bishop. So yeah, bishop f5 could be thought, but it's not easy to defend from black side. And so bishop d5 was played. Rook e7 and bishop takes g2, king takes g2, and pawn to c3. Rook takes f7, king takes f7, queen to c4 check, king moves, and queen takes c3. So this is winning for white now. There is no way that black can defend this position and secure a draw at least. But yeah, this is winning for white. Let's quickly fast forward and get to this live position. So this was live position. I think f pawn is going to be the winning pawn here. The only chance here is to, okay, so this, yeah, this and king rook can come to c2 now, trying to give a mate on here. Queen g7 check is acceptable. King can move to e8, pawn f7, king moves, and then there is a discovered check. So yeah, this is losing for black now. It's a check and mate. Let's go back to a tournament and check the next game out there. Let's try to join the tournament, guys. Actually, I want to play a few games. We still have 10 minutes remaining. So meanwhile, if you have, so playing my game, actually, I think it gives me some time to discuss with you any new topics that I have in my mind. If any new videos that are coming up for you. Actually, we are planning to make a new video right now on how you can become a chess arbiter and use chess arbiter as your career. So I have contacted few national arbiters who can help us actually, or who can guide us to understand how you can be a arbiter, chess arbiter, and how much money you can earn from that career. I have made a video on the careers in chess. You can watch that video. But yeah, you should know that how much money you can make from being a chess arbiter here. So chess arbiter actually is it's a very important job. It's not that simple. And to become a chess arbiter, you have to clear few exams first. Okay, and you have to get your norms, and after your norms are cleared, only then you can go for the uh, the title of the arbiter. Okay, so pawn 25 has been played. This b7 b2 pawn cannot be pushed now. So this is a nice little French defense which is going on. If I play bishop d2, queen takes b2 is expected, rook b1, queen takes a3 is expected, and then we have rook to b3. Rook to b3, queen can be played to a4, and I can play bishop to b5. I can play bishop b5, and queen a2 is forced. Then I can play queen to d3. Knight b4 is expected. Knight b4, queen is attacked. I have to move my queen, and then I think rook a1 is possible. Let's try to go for this variation. Let's try to invite him to capture the b2 pawn. Let's try to make it interesting actually. Let him capture the b2 pawn. Let's try to play rook a3, rook b1 then. Okay, so he's not capturing the b2 pawn. He's afraid to capture the b2 pawn. That's good news for us. So now we can. So g5 has been played here. We have to play queen c2, rook to c1, and then try probably to play b4 or knight c3 moves. G4. Oh, okay. I missed this trick actually. I really missed this one because now this d4 pawn is hanging actually. So let's just try to play knight e1, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and then we can c5 pawn is hanging. Let's play bishop c3. Try to support this pawn and let's play king h1. I'll try to open up the f file now. I think pawn d4 is coming. I missed this one as well. So don't give away this d4 pawn, guys, if you're playing in such variations. Make sure that this d4 pawn is safe and sound and you don't give away your d4 pawn so easily. Let's try to play f4. I have to attack now. My central pawns are gone. If I'm not in attacking position, I might end up losing very soon. Knight d3, we have knight takes d3, and knight can go to e5 then try to attack the f7 square. Yeah, let's play knight d3. I think bishop d7 is now expected. Knight e5 can be played then. If bishop d7, knight e5, yeah, knight e5, rook c8 is now expected. Rook c8, we cannot go queen d3 because of bishop b5. We can play knight d7 actually. Knight d7, rook takes c2, knight takes b6, rook takes d2. What do we have? We have rook c1 after that, but yeah, black can castle. Interesting. Bishop takes a5. We have queen e4 move here available for us. We have queen d1 available for us. Let's play queen d1. I think bishop b5 will be played. Knight, yeah, let me capture the, and let me play f5. Let's try to open up the f file to attack more now. You need open files to attack as much as possible. If e5 is played, then I'll get a tempo here of attacking this pawn and this pawn together. So if the f6 is played, I can capture the a4 pawn. Now queen takes b2 is expected, which will be replied with rook to b1, and then I can capture the b7 pawn. So I'm inviting him to capture the b2 pawn now. That has been declined, and now I need to find a way to explore to get my queen inside this e7 to b7. Yeah, I think h4 h3 is one of the deadly threats here with the queen on c6. Yeah. Hmm. We can play bishop takes e7, queen check, king moves, queen to b3 check, and if pawn takes, we can play king to g1. Or we can play queen to d1, try to attack this g4 pawn. I think queen e4 is something that he'll play now. Queen e4 is the expected move. Last 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the tournament, guys. So queen e4 has been played and h3 is now, I think, unstoppable. Hmm. So my queen is not able to intrude in the black's camp. I think this is losing for me now. h3 is unstoppable. So probably just try to exchange the queens now. There is no way out. And black should win this win with these two beautiful passes out there. Pawn push, pawn push, pawn push. And yeah, this is winning for black now. Rook c1 is simple winning. Yeah, let me resign. Let's go back to a tournament. A nice game, but I enjoyed this game. I made few mistakes, but yeah, that's okay. Sometimes you're tired and oh, I got another game. Let's try to play this in the berserk mode for you guys. d4. Let's try to win this one at least. Last 2 minutes remaining, guys, and knight f3 has been played. Knight f6, knight f6, knight f3, and c4. Pawn to d5 is expected now, so knight c3 will be played. Pawn e6. Okay, let me play g3. Bishop b4 check. Yeah, bishop b4. Let me play bishop to d2. This is called as a Bogo Indian line against the Nimzo Indian defense. This is very well played by a lot of players. And we have this bishop takes a8 possible here. So this knight is now hanging. It will come back to c6. I will capture the knight on c6 and then support the d4 pawn by playing pawn to e3. And I can just castle now, or even I can play queen c2 first, trying to attack the c6 pawn and attack this bishop. So queen d7 is expected. Queen d7 can be replied by knight b3 and knight c5. So there will be a 4-4 con. Okay, so yeah, giving away the pawn here. And I think queen c6 check and this bishop is now free. Yep. So castles is now expected. Pawn to c5 has been played. Let me just quickly give a check here. Queen takes, and I think this should be easily winning for me. I was expecting a tough opponent actually, but unfortunately I did not get any. Okay, knight takes. I can play knight e5 and get this knight for free now. Even there is a threat of, oh no, there is no threat of rook takes. Yeah, so let me just get all the pieces exchanged here. Just trying to play as fast as possible to create some kind of magic for you. Now just queen and get the checkmate. Just note the time, guys. Oh, I have missed this. Let him queen. Let him be happy. I have to make sure I don't uh, do a stalemate here. Yep. So back to tournament. Let me pause now, not to. Okay. So the tournament is over, and these are the final ranking for the day. The 64th 63rd Khelo Chess India team battle. We have beat Mindano Chess Prodigy winning today with 144 points, followed by Prayag Raj, Future GMs on 121. Then we have Team Future on 116, Chess Blasters on 78, Khelo Chess India, Rodrigam playing leading from Khelo Chess India. So congrats to Rodrigam for scoring 10 points. Then we have Mr. Green on 9. Then we have myself, Ojas playing today from Khelo Chess India. We have Kuam the Great, Mai Shakti, Akash Srivastav, and Shubhu all playing from Kilochess India. Congratulations, all the top 8 players. Then we have Kings of 64 Squares on 45, Golden Castle Chess Club on 21, and Abhi Chess Club on 15. So we had less attendance today because of the World Battle that was at 8:15 p.m. IST. So that's all from the live section, guys. If you have any questions, you can ask now. We still have a minute to go before I end the live broadcast. So if there are any no questions, and Aditya Srivastav, yes, excellent analysis. Thank you, Aditya. Thanks very much. Thanks for the compliment. Make sure, Aditya, you subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and also put all your queries and questions and doubts in the comment section. I would be happy to answer them all. So I think that's all from the live broadcast. No more questions, no more comments on the in the game room, in the game chat room. So this is the right time to say a goodbye to all of you friends. Thanks for viewing. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share with your friends as much as possible. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being the part of this live broadcast. We will meet again tomorrow, sharp at 9:30 p.m. IST. Up to that time, bye bye and take care. Good night. So I got a question just meanwhile I was disconnecting. Deadshot asks, सर आप कोचिंग सीखते हैं क्या? आई गेस डेडशॉट आप पूछना चाहते हो कि आप कोचिंग करते हो क्या? यस डेडशॉट, मैं ऑनलाइन कोचिंग करता हूँ। एंड अगर आपको इंटरेस्टेड है ऑनलाइन कोचिंग लेने में तो मेरा नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में एक व्हाट्सएप का ग्रुप दिया है, उस पर आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हो। वहाँ पे मैं एडमिन हूँ, मुझे आप पिंग करो, मैं आपको कोचिंग के बारे में डिटेल्स बता दूंगा। ओके, मैं ग्रुप कोचिंग भी लेता हूँ। अगर आपका ग्रुप है ऑनलाइन तो हम लोग स्काइप पे कोचिंग कर सकते हैं, या फिर जो भी प्लेटफॉर्म आपके पास है अवेलेबल वो यूज़ करके हम कोचिंग कर सकते हैं। यस, so join the WhatsApp group, that short, and then you can contact me via the WhatsApp. So bye bye, good night, and take care, all my friends. That's the last question that we're taking for tonight.